It is Thursday night. Welcome to Short Shift Broadcasting's coverage of the Pure Speed Elite Series, round number 10 tonight at Richmond Raceway, a D-shaped oval with a length of 0.72 miles, three-quarter mile track here. It's not a big track, it's not a little track, it's somewhere in between. The ambient temperature here as we are going into the evening is 76 degrees Fahrenheit, folks. The relative humidity is 55%. Cloudy skies, no winds to speak of. We have a track temperature of 79 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that we have a fairly cool track here, which should be good news for the drivers. A cool track is usually a track with a lot of grip. Our race tonight is sponsored once again by Sandwichman Racing Memorabilia. Check them out on Facebook and the internet, folks. They have all the stuff your heart desires as far as model cars and hats and t-shirts and caps and everything racing related. They have it. So go check them out on Facebook or on the internet. Sandwichman Racing Memorabilia. All right, folks, let's bring in a little bit more information on the situation as far as the standings is concerned. We have Austin Reedy leading the point standings after 9 races. There's a little mistake in the graphic there. I apologize for that, but last week we were in Las Vegas. That was race number 9. Austin Reedy took the lead with 361 points, exactly 1 point ahead of James Holzer with 360. It is Jaden Gimbel in third position still with 330. Jaden is still chasing that first win this season. Tyler Werner is fourth, then it's Kyle Benson, Ryan Steenbuckers, Nathaniel Mann, Gregory Joyner, Debbie Hutchins. The only lady in the field is hanging on to that top 10 position there pretty consistently. Excuse me. And then it's Kate Gimbel in 10th position, and further down you can find your favorite drivers. Let's see. We have Michael Schneier up there in 18th. Hank Caston dropping a little bit off to 22nd. We haven't seen Hank for a while. Hopefully he'll be able to come back into the series. He was doing a really good job, but unfortunately he has not been able to come out and play with us. Well, that is your standings, folk. Reedy, Holzer, Gimbel, your top 3 in the standings. They obviously all want to do well here. 10th race of the season. We're going to be mid-season pretty much here, and it looks like currently in the practice session we have James Holzer setting the quickest lap with a 21.071, and Tyler Werner following him very, very closely there, 8 thousandths of a second. Not even 100th of a second behind him there. As you can see, folks, the top 18 drivers are all within a second, and that means that we have a pretty competitive field here tonight. We have 20 drivers entering the race currently. It looks like all 20 of them have been out on the track to play around. So let's see if we can find some of these guys going around the track here. There you have the number 11 car of Austin Reedy, your championship leader currently. And he is currently running in 7th position. He was a bit late in the practice session, so he may have some stuff to make up here. I saw him coming in just a little bit before we went live, so he was a little bit late. We have Cole Martin in the 24 car. Beautiful livery there, Hendrick Cars, number 24. And he is back at it again. He's recently joined the series, and we like seeing him back all the time. Brandon Gillis in the number 9 car, also very pretty looking car there. Square Enix Games as the main sponsor on the car. Gavin Hudspeth in the number 56. He likes Menards and cookies. Nathaniel Mann in the number 29 car, a familiar face on the track here nowadays. Debbie Hutchins is in the 82 car, the pedigree livery again. Robert Ballard Jr., the number 32, he is back at it again. He's been a consistent contender in this series. try to work his way forward and gain some more experience. There we have our Canadian friend Ryan Steenbuckers in the 799 car. I haven't seen his teammate yet, but he looks like he's fairly strong here tonight. He's ran the sixth practice time, and of course these practice times don't mean everything. But sometimes they are a bit of an indication how we're doing. But obviously, some drivers could be going out during the practice in their qualifying setups, and that would obviously steal us a bit of time there. But it doesn't look like I'm a little confused because the iRacing information on this session said it was a fixed setup race, but I don't believe the Pure Speed Elite Series ever intended to be a fixed setup series. So that might be my mistake, but I can see if I can find somebody that could tell me that. Maybe Jaden Gimbel is somewhere around. Let's see if we can find him. Jaden, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up? I got you.
Hey, James, I was looking at the information on the internet session before I went live, and it said fixed setup. I didn't think this series was fixed setup.
Oh, yep. All year we've been running fixed setups, actually, if you didn't know that.
Oh, I must have got you guys confused with another series. I apologize for that. So, how does the setup feel tonight?
Oh, well, we run the setups that iRacing gives us, and I mean, they're feeling really loose on the exit right now. And, I mean, it's gonna be interesting here for the beginning part. There might be some cars getting around early.
Okay, well, that'll be something to watch for. You're currently third in the championship, James. You got, Jaden. I'm sorry. You got a, what is it? About a 30-point deficit there on the two leaders who are pretty close together. There. What is your strategy for tonight?
Strategy is gonna be keeping the car clean, probably qualifying so I can be up in the front rather than the back, where there could be some messy drivers just due to the practice. I mean, I've ran probably close to 200 laps here, and it's still pretty sketchy for me. So, I mean, depending on how much these guys practice, I mean, you're gonna be able to tell who practiced and who didn't.
Okay. All right, Jaden. Qualifying is about a half a minute away. I'll let you go here and get ready to qualify for the race. Good luck, my friend.
All right, thanks, buddy. Have fun up there.
Will do. All right, folks, there you had that was Jaden Gimbel, your third place driver in the championship, getting ready for the race. I apologize if I have misinformed you in the past. I may have mixed up my leagues here every once in a while. I thought this was open setup, but evidently it's been closed setup, fixed setup ever since we started. So I apologize if I messed that up. But what does that mean? Fixed setup basically means, folks, that they use a setup that iRacing provides or somebody else provides. They actually use the iRacing standard setups, and it means that you can't really change anything as far as spring rates or stiffness of the car, the anti-roll bars and stuff like that. You can't change any of that. You got to make do with what you got. The only thing you can change is the brake bias and the steering ratio. And the brake bias, folks, that is a device, a knob on the dashboard that they can use to distribute the braking force between the rear and the front tires. Now, sometimes you can help the turning in of the car by moving that brake bias backwards a little bit, and then when you approach the turn, you just slightly put your foot on the brake so that the brakes are just barely gripping on the discs, and that'll help you get the car to rotate a little bit better. Obviously, you don't want to do too much of that because you'll lose the back end. And opposite of that, obviously, you can move the brake bias forward, and that gives you a little bit more push. If your car feels too loose, you can help the car stay in a straight line a little bit better. Not everybody uses the brakes on tracks like these. It's a bit different per driver. If they use the brakes, it's not very hard. It's just very gentle, and basically what you do with the brake, or even if you don't use it but you let go of the gas, is you shift the weight of the car to the front wheels, so that way you have a little bit more grip on the wheels that are turning the car. All right, we're looking currently at the qualifying session here, folks. They have 2 laps at their disposal within 5 minutes. They cannot see each other. They're alone on the track, but we can check out anybody that is here. We are currently looking at Tyler Werner, that had the fastest time so far, and Austin Reedy has brought it in second place there. Let's see if we can find anybody running still. This is Nathaniel Mann, who has finished his qualifying effort. There you see his lap times. Let's see how Jaden Gimbel is doing. He got a little loose there coming off the turn. That kind of ruined probably his. He's still better on his second lap. That's quite significant there. With the car being that loose, is usually costing you a lot of time. It looks like we have a new driver here as well, and that is Christopher Fathke. I hope I pronounce his name the way he wants me to. And he is driving the 027 car tonight, and I believe he's new to the series, so welcome, Christopher. We hope you have a lot of fun tonight, and we hope you get to stick around in the series. We can always use a bunch of good drivers, and good luck to you, my friend. All right, we also have John Holiday on track here in the 46 car, the very beautiful Summit livery on that machine. And he is yet to set his first time here. I believe Gregory Joyner had a bit of an incident. Yep, he turned it around as he got to the finish line there, trying to fix his best time. Obviously, I'm not sure if that worked. Let's see, where's John Holiday? There he is. He is currently the final car on the track, actually. And Cole Martin is actually coming out too, and John has brought it back. I believe, yeah, he's in 13th position currently at 23.129. That is a little bit slower than he should be, actually. 1.7 seconds from the leading time. So hopefully he can pick it up during the race. This is the 24 car of Cole Martin. And he has been a regular in the series for a while now. He's doing a really good job in that beautiful Hendrick Cars livery, number 24. Very pretty car, I think. Reedy is still sitting on pit road, and Cole is currently the only driver on track. And we are taking away the last half minute here. If you haven't set a time by now, you're probably not going to get one in, because you don't get any flexibility on those 5 minutes. There you see Martin bringing it across the finish line, and he actually pumps up his time to the 9th position with a what is it, 21.83. So not a bad time. That was actually his first lap. His second lap looks quicker, but it didn't count for whatever reason. He may have brushed the wall there, or if iRacing sees him going around, it'll disallow the lap. You have to run clean laps on qualifying in iRacing. If you don't, if you scuff the wall or anything, you go off track, your time is disallowed. All right, folks, let's go take a look at the grid here as we're going into a 175 lap race here at Richmond, Virginia. Tyler Werner is your pole sitter, as Austin Reedy is in second place alongside him. James Holzer is on the second row with Kyle Benson. The third row is for Gregory Joyner and Nathaniel Mann. Good qualifying effort for the 29 driver there. Ryan Steenbakkers is on the fourth row with Jaden Gimbel alongside him. Fifth row for Cole Martin and Cade Gimbel. And the sixth row is for Brandon Gillis and Christopher Fathke. And let's see, Where we at? The 7th row is for Kelly Melanson from Canada and John Holiday in the 46 car. Then the 8th row is being occupied by Mitchell Snare and Debbie Hutchins, the only lady in the field in the 82 car. And then it's Richard Rico and Gavin Hudspeth on the 9th row, and the 10th row is for Randy Biscuit and Robert Ballard Jr. And it looks like the last few drivers there, the last 3 rows of drivers no less, have not set a time there for the qualifying. That's okay. Some drivers elect kind of purposely to start in the back and kind of just wait until everything settles in the race and do it that way. And if that works for them, then it works for them. That's what counts. All right, let's reload scoring here real quickly. It looks like we don't have the full list of drivers there on the screen. There you have it. We're going. Oh, Tyler Werner is shown in last place here all of a sudden. That is kind of weird. That's not right. Well, I hope scoring isn't letting me down here tonight. This is a bit odd. Tyler Werner is your pole sitter, and he is actually running on that first position there as well. So hopefully scoring gets sorted out as soon as they cross the start-finish line. Not really sure what happened here. I can try to reload everything again. Make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to work. We are getting ready to go green here, so hopefully we can get this going really quickly. Yeah, there we go. Now it's working. Not sure what that was, but it looks like we're getting ready to move the pace car to the pit lane, and there we go. It is
green flag, green flag.
The call on the radio is out. Tyler Werner hits the gas, and Austin Reedy stays alongside him there. James Holzer in 3rd position in that 42 car. James already diving to the inside of Reedy and picking up 2nd position. Well, he doesn't have it yet, quite yet. They're alongside, they're side by side there. James Holzer is moving in front now, the 76 of Kyle Benson in a brand new paint scheme. It looks like he is coming along to the inside of the number 11 as well. So Werner has a battle on his hands here with Holzer and Benson behind him, and Austin Reedy looked like he was on that higher side, just really not forcing the issue, trying to stay with him. There is 173 laps to go, so why would you want to be the leader on the first lap? That's really not all that important. Kyle Benson currently setting the quickest lap of the race, 21.754. Let's go take a look at Jaden Gimbel. He is still in 8th position, running behind Ryan Steenbuckers there in the 799. And our new friend Christopher Fathke is in the 027 there. Looks like he's got a bit of a gap in front of him and a gap behind him there. But less said, it ain't over till it's over. We have a bunch of laps to go, almost 170 laps to go. So it is really not all that important to be... ooh, it looks like we have an issue for John Holiday. He looks like he's got some sort of technical issue there, folks. And he is really very good sportsmanship of him to just drive it to the outside and to the wall so he's not in anybody's way. But that didn't look like a crash. That was kind of probably just a steering wheel or a monitor or whatever at home is suddenly not working. Tyler Werner, meanwhile, is still in front. He is leading James Holzer by maybe a car length. It's not very much. Kyle Benson there in third. Reedy following closely. Joyner in the number 3 car following closely. Nathaniel Mann in the 29 car, and then there is about 7/10 of a second to Ryan Steenbuckers and Jaden Gimbel. Cole Martin follows in 9th, and Kate Gimbel rounds out your top 10 there in front of Mitchell Snare. John Holliday is still in pit road. Hopefully he can get his stuff worked out there at home. And yeah, I can't really even see him, but there he is. Ooh, now he's back at it. He's getting new tires. Might as well, since you have to be there. So at least he's back on his way. He's lost 4 laps with that issue. It kind of looked like either his monitor dropped or he didn't see anything, or he couldn't steer the car or whatever. So kudos to him for not causing a wreck there and making sure he stayed out of everybody's way. That is good sportsmanship, and we very much appreciate that. James Holzer seems like he's getting a little bit more racy already at lap number 10. He's showing himself to the inside there of Tyler Werner. James likes the lead. We know he does. And there he goes. He picks up the first position going into lap number 11. And now he might try to move away a little bit there and see what he can put on Werner there. Looks like Kyle Benson's also closing in a little bit. And obviously tire management is going to be a factor. Guys will have to make sure that they make those tires last as long as they can. You never know how long the track stays green. And it looks like we had an issue for Kelly Melanson as well on lap number 7. Ooh, went off track through the grass here. And luckily didn't hit anything, didn't touch anybody, and is right back on his way. And you see Kyle Benson closing in on Werner there, trying to put some pressure on him. Although it feels to me like all these drivers are really being somewhat patient here. Even Holzer is not running away.
Yellow flag.
Caution. Let's go see. Ooh, Debbie Hutchins is involved here. Let's see what happened to her. Ooh, the 32 just way overshoots his entry point there, taking the 32. Oh, that is messy. That is really a big mess. The entire leading pack there runs into Debbie there, and I'll be honest with you folks, that she should have just stood there. And on one hand, you can't blame her for trying to get going, to being the victim of a silly move from the 32 there, and then she tries to get going and spins the car around in front of the leaders. That is very, 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 very unfortunate. All right, well, that brings everybody on pit road. They have one fast repair. Well, a lot of people are going to need it. James Holzer, Kyle Benson, he's got some damage. Fathke, can't really tell if he's damaged or not. Mitchell Snare, Jaden Gimbel, yeah, he's got some damage on the left front there. Cole Martin, Richard Rico looks all right. Kate Gimbel, he looks pretty good. Randy Biscuit, and Debbie Hutchins is there. She's getting repaired, obviously. Kevin Hudspeth stayed out, it looked like. And not sure why he's letting everybody go here. He's coming to a full stop on the apron there. And that brings James Holzer back in the lead. Let's see about Reedy in the number 11. And I don't believe he has a lot of damage, but he didn't take his fast repair. look at the back end of that car. He's going to save that faster pair and see if he can make it work without using it already. And Kyle Benson, I'm looking for Kyle here and seeing how, same thing. I don't believe he had it fixed up. Well, maybe he had, maybe that's just a paint job. And Jaden Gimbel is there. And we have Gavin Hudspeth now in pit road. He looks like he took a tow. A little bit confusing why he did it that way. But, well, their first caution of the day, lap number 17. A little unfortunate what happened there. Let's see if we can see how that went for Holzer. Everything is happening ahead of him, and he is coming around, coming to a stop. Oh, this is after it already happened. He's picking up the pace car there. I apologize. Steenbakkers is back on pit road. He is dropping to 14th position or worse, 12th position or worse. He's back out again. And Steenbakkers is still on the lead lap. We have Ballard no longer on the lead lap. He's the first one of the lap drivers, and the same is true for Rico, Amon, and Hudspeth. Debbie Hutchins is 4 laps down, but at least she's still running, and it looks like she got that car fixed up. So one thing drivers really need to keep in mind is when you spin around and the race is being called yellow, you have to make sure the track is clear before you get going.
Green, green, green.
All right, there we go. Once again, Holzer is early on the gas there. Joyner had to wait for him. You can't start from second place before the leader does. So Joyner in second place being pressured there by Mitchell Snare in the 43 car. Everybody went to pit road, it looks like. It doesn't show Debbie Hutchins has visited pit road, but she was definitely there. We saw that. And Mitchell Snare there coming to the inside of the 3, taking a look at what he can do. The 3 gives him all the room he needs. And he can't quite bring it underneath there. Now he can, as the 3 runs a little bit wide. Holzer's checking out. He's got 7/10 of a second on these guys. Snare picks up second position, and Tyler Werner is there in the 33 car. He is already closing in on him. He's going to try to get back up to the front, obviously. Reedy already working his way up to 6th position. That car is damaged on the back end fairly heavily, but it looks like it's not all that bad as far as handling is concerned. Airflow's not that much of a factor around here. We're not going fast enough for the aerodynamics to be hugely important.
The yellow flag is out.
Ooh, let's see what we can figure out now. Ooh, that's Nathaniel Mann. The 32 loses the back end and runs into Jaden there. And then Debbie Hutchins is a victim of it once again. That's the second time that Ballard starts something, and and Hutchins becomes the victim of that. By now, she's 5 laps down, and she's already used her fast repair. She's in trouble. And after 24 laps, that's too early to be in trouble. All right, lap number 25. James Holzer still your leader. Let's take a look there. I believe we have a Lucky Dog driver coming around, and that looks like Richard Rico. he seems to be the lucky dog. Jaden Gimbel is back on pit road, and he has he's got a tough night also. He is going to bring it back out. He is missing the nose. And the fact that the wheels are leaning to the left that's supposed to be that way, folks. That's not damage. That is what we call camber, and both wheels are running camber to the left side. That helps the car rotate to the left. Basically, these cars are set up that if you would let go of the steering wheel on a straight line, the car would turn left by itself because of the suspension setup that way. It looks like Mitchell Snare in the 43 is getting ready to come alongside the 42 there. I can't really see if the pace car lights are out or not. Maybe if we go on board. Yeah, they're still on. Jaden Gimbel back on pit road. He's going to obviously try to use those. Maybe he's missing the trunk. He's missing the back spoiler. He's missing the front end. That's going to be a tough race for him. I hate to see that kind of stuff. Ballard is back out. He's already used up his fast repair as well, and damage on the rear is it's not really that bad, but it looks like Debbie Hutchins is parked it on pit road. And there you see the lights on that Mustang going out. The track lights are coming on. As the sun sets here in Richmond, Virginia, we're going to go back to racing with James Holzer and Mitchell Snare on the front row here. And then it's Gregory Joyner in that number 3 car with Tyler Werner now in 4th. And then Cole Martin and Austin Reedy on the 3rd row. So Reedy in 6th position there.
Green, green, green.
There we go. James waits for the radio call, and then he's got a good start. A little bit of a jump. Whoops. A little bit of a jump on the rest of the field. Joyner and Snare on side by side. Looks like Cole Martin was trying to get underneath Werner, but Werner's got good momentum on that higher side. Stayed in front of him in the 33 car. That is Cole Martin now being passed by Kyle Benson in the 76. He's coming to the inside. He wants that 5th position from Cole. And James holding on to the lead here, with Snare in 2nd place and Joyner in 3rd. Jaden Gimbel in 15th position with that bad-looking car there. And I'm still surprised he makes it under 23 seconds around the track. That is pretty bad. Richard Rico is gaining back up a little bit again. And hey, Debbie, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Hey, Mark, what's up, man?
Well, I was just kind of wanting to find out how your situation is. Do you think you gonna get going again, or is it too bad to go on?
No, I'll get out there and I'll go again.
Good.
I never say never, I never die, and I just keep a trying.
Yeah, that's the spirit, Debbie. That's the spirit. So basically, it's 2 times in a few laps that a mistake by Mr. Ballard is causing you a lot of trouble there. How do you feel about stuff like that?
No, the first one, yeah, me and him got together. The second one was all on me. I spun myself out all by myself.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck to you, Debbie. I hope you can get back going again, and maybe we'll talk to you later.
So, thank you so much for the job you're doing. We love it.
No problem. We love it too here. Thank you.
Alrighty. Bye-bye. No, I'll come back out.
All right, there you heard from the only lady in the field there, Debbie Hutchins, waiting for the crew to work on that car. And she says she just wants to come back out and play again. So that's the spirit. We like to hear that. She doesn't give up that easy. And as you heard, it wasn't really Ballard's mistake that got her out the second time. The first time they got together, she said, and the second time she just basically did it on her own, and that was all she wrote. So we appreciate her honesty for sure. There we have another caution as we're talking about cautions, and it looks like we have Cole Martin in trouble in the number 24 car. Let's see what happened here. Ooh, he touches the wall. Really tries hard to stay out of Steenbecker's way there, and that was all she wrote. And then I believe that one, who got into him, I can't really tell, but that looked to me like Brandon Gillis. Yeah, that was Brandon Gillis, actually. He looks like he's coming off all right. All right, leaders of the field are all coming back down pit road. Lap 38 of 175. Holzer, Snare, Werner, everybody. And let's see, Nathaniel is staying out there, but he probably has to wait till next lap as he is a lap down. Martin is already in the pits because of the damage he sustained. Debbie Hutchins is coming back out as we speak. It looks like Nathaniel gets waved around the pace car there. And Debbie is running again. It's not the prettiest machine this way, but it's running, and that's all that matters. And obviously now she's got to figure out where to come into the line. She's 18 laps down, but she's not giving up, and I can sure appreciate that. Brandon Gillis looks like he stayed out. And now coming in. Yep. And that brings James back out in front. Let's see who else we've got. Randy Bisquette coming out of the pit road there. Gavin Hudspeth and Jaden Gimbel is coming back out. that number 12 car, it sure looks like a sorry sight, doesn't it? But same for Jaden, as I said about Debbie. We can sure appreciate drivers that just keep on going. You got to score your points. You can park the car, then you know you're going to be last. You got to score your points. Everybody scores points. The more points you score, the better it's going to be. And Jaden Gimbel has got a third place in the standings to defend there. So, yeah, I can see him wanting to stay out there. Let's see. We have some more drivers on pit road. There we have Gillis coming out, Nathaniel Mann, and Cole Martin is coming back in again. The car doesn't even look all that bad. I think he's taken that fast repair, if he had it. So, yeah, that doesn't even look all that bad. That's good for him. Cole went down a lap, but that's not something you would not possibly be able to overcome. Gimbel coming back in. The more yellows you see, the more you'll see him on pit road trying to get that car at least figured out enough that he can run at speed. He's missing that trunk with the spoiler, and that is probably going to hurt him quite a bit. Despite that the aerodynamics are not that important, they are, of course, always helping. And it looks like Debbie gets the the wave around there as the lights on the pace car are going out. Holzer and Werner leading the pack there in front of Snare and Benson on the second row, and then Reedy and Joyner on the third row. Reedy has actually gained a position. He is now in 5th. Steenbakker's in 7th. And pace car is in, waiting for the radio call. There we go. It is Holzer back on the gas really quickly. It looks like that outside line just doesn't seem to work all that well. Werner drops back, and Mitchell Snare comes to his inside. And there he slots back in line. He needs to be on that inside line, obviously, to make that thing go. It's not yet a double groove there, and as the drivers go around the track, they may lay some rubber down to help that second line come in a little bit. But right now, it doesn't look like it seems to be working all that well. Holzer leading, Snare second, Werner third, Benson 4th, and Reedy 5th. Let's go take a look at Austin Reedy, your championship leader in that number 11 car. Seems to be coming along pretty good. He still has not taken a full repair on that back end. He is still saving that fast repair, and I don't blame him. If your car can handle it, then it is a good thing to save it to the last pit stop or so, and try to keep yourself in contention. As long as you're not outside the top 6 or 7 and you're staying on the lead lap, you're in contention. We have an issue going on for Kelly Melanson. Let's see what happened here. Ooh, he just lost the back end, went over the grass, missed the wall, but only just.
Caution.
And he comes back on the track. And then let's see what happened to you. We have another one for the 32. That is Robert Ballard. Robert's having a little trouble here. Oh, this was absolutely not his fault. It was somebody in front of him. And that looked to me like Randy Bisquet had an issue there. Let's go see what happened. Randy loses the back end just like the 24 did. And there Ballard has no escape. He runs into that car, and that is absolutely not his fault at all. There's just no saving it at these speeds sometimes. So tough luck there for Robert Ballard in the 32. Looks like we have Rico and Gimbel back on pit road. Gimbel, we can see him here all the time. He's just trying to get as much repairs as he can. If he can stay on the lead lap doing that, he still might have a little shot at it at least a top 10 position at the end of the race. All right, Randy Bisquet is also on pit road. It looks like these guys sustained. Well, Bisquet's car's not too bad. I'm not sure if he still has that fast repair. Fairly sure Ballard does not. Lap number 48 of 175 here at Richmond, Virginia. As you can see, the lights are going out, and let's see. Looks like the 24 of Cole Martin gets the lucky dog there. So he gets to go back to the end of the field. That brings him back onto the lead lap. As you can see, the lights on the track have been turned off. The sun is setting here at Richmond, Virginia. That means that the track is probably going to cool down a little bit, and that is good news for the guys. As we heard Jaden Gimbel talk to us before we started about the back end being somewhat loose on this setup, we've seen a few drivers get in trouble with a loose back end, and hopefully with the track cooling down a little bit, that may get a little bit better. And once again, folks, let's shout out some appreciation towards Sandwichman Racing Memorabilia for sponsoring the Pure Speed Elite Series here on Thursday night on Short Shift Broadcasting. We appreciate their commitment to this series so far. And we hope you check them out, folks, on Facebook or internet. Sandwichman Racing, they have die casts in 124th and 164 skill. NASCAR stuff, obviously, hats and t-shirts and caps and you name it, they have it. With the holidays coming up, give them a look and give them a shout out. Pace car has turned the lights off, so that means we're going to be going racing, going into lap number 52 here. James Holzer is still your leader with Michael Schneider now on that high side. Now it'll be interesting to see if Tyler Werner can take better advantage of starting on that inside line. And now it's obviously it's Mitchell and Benson that have that disadvantage of starting on the outside line. Field closing up behind the pace car. Let's give you a little bit wider shot. The back end of the field is barely caught up as the front end is already getting ready to go. And there you see, and part of this was also the reaction time of Werner. He was quick on the gas as he saw Holzer go, but he's got that inside line working quite a bit better. And it looks like Mitchell Snare has dropped to the 4th position at the cost of Kyle Benson as well. Now let's see what Tyler can do as far as the number 42 is concerned. We know that Tyler was quick on the early laps right after we started this thing. So on fresh tires, we know he can be very quick, but he needs to make it work for the rest of the stint as well. And obviously, yellows breed yellows, folks. So some of the drivers may be counting a little bit on these stints not being all that long. Track position can sometimes be important if there's a lot of yellows. Oh. That was Mitchell Snare getting in trouble there. Let's bring that back for you real quick. Oops, a little bit too far maybe. He's coming off the turn. If you keep an eye on that 43 car, he comes off the turn and he brushes that wall. He gets that back end loose, brushes the wall, but he definitely saves it. So good job for Mitchell Snare there. Austin Reedy closing in on him now. There's a bit of a gap behind Reedy towards Joyner and Steenbakkers. And Jaden Gimbel is hanging on to 13th position in front of Richard Rico. But it definitely doesn't look like that 12th car is all that grippy right now. Bad luck for Jaden. James Holzer is still holding on to that lead. Werner in second. Let's go check on Ryan Steenbakkers. He's in 7th position in front of Kate Gimbel. They have about 0.6 of a second of a deficit behind Joyner. Steenbakkers, a very strong driver, always somebody to be reckoned with. But he seems to be struggling a little bit here. His lap times are not that bad. He's running 22.2s as opposed to the 22.06 of the leader. So he's a little bit off, but not by much. Kelly Melanson in that 14 car is running in 15th position, right behind Richard Rico, and Jaden Gimbel is keeping that redesigned number 12 in front of these guys. He's running 22.6 as lap times, and that's not bad at all, considering. Busquet and Ballard have not left pit road, but they might be thinking the same way as Debbie did, you just got to get that car fixed and get going. They're actually still ahead of Debbie Hutchins. Debbie is 18 laps down from the leaders. But as said, she is moving. She is still rolling. Car's not fast. 23.11 was her last lap, but she's hanging in there. And once again, folks, it's just all about picking up some points. And even though she's running in the next to last position, if some other people get into trouble, she might still improve that position, obviously, and pick up some more points. And it's not just about points, it's about having fun and being out there racing with the guys, and that is you're not here to quit, you're here to race. Holzer's hanging on to that lead. The field is stretching out quite a bit there. Oh, we have another yellow. Let's go find out what happened. Looks like Mitchell Snare got in trouble. That's what he had happened before. This time he can't save it. The back end just steps out. He backs it into the inside wall and damages the back end of that car fairly heavily. Very, very unfortunate for him. And we see all the drivers there coming back on pit road, getting some more tires and fuel. Lap number 64 of 175, about a third in. And the entire field is coming down pit road. All the first 14 drivers, as you can see on the left side of your screen there. And the drivers behind there obviously will come in a lap later because the pit is closed for those guys. Let's keep an eye on who comes out first, and it's James Holzer that's got a good pit stop there. He comes back out in front. Werner in second, Benson in third, so Benson picks up a position. Reedy in fourth, Steenbacher's now in fifth. So who are we missing? We are missing who am I missing? Yeah, Benson dropped a position. That's yeah, he just dropped a position. And it looks like he's letting by some more people. Something has to be. Maybe he's been speeding on pit lane and he's got to go to the back end of the longest line. I'm not sure what happened here, but that's kind of what it looks like. He's letting everybody go by here. Then he picks it back up. No such problems for James Holzer in that 42 car. Debbie is in front of him. She'll be waved around the pit car. The pace car, I should say. And that means that she's actually picking up some of the laps that she's lost. She was 18 laps down when she got going. She's 17 laps down now. So good for her. That's the way to do it. You just pick them up one by one, and if the yellows fall your way, you can actually gain back quite a few laps that way. Of course, that means you would have a few yellows, and we're trying to avoid those as much as we can. Gimbal is once again trying to get some more damage repaired on that number 12. Busy night for the team. The front end is the worst on that 82 car, and that probably gives her somewhat of a push into turns. And see ahead of her we have Randy Bisquette, also fairly redesigned car. They're going by the pace car. That means the lights have gone off and they get to go around to make sure that we have James Holzer as the first car on the restart. And that puts Tyler Werner back on the outside again, and Austin Reedy on the inside. So let's keep an eye on the 11 and the 33, and I would expect Reedy to be able to come to the inside of Werner there. That high line still doesn't seem to be working as well as the bottom. Give you the wider shot there. As you can see, not everybody is closed up there.
Green flag.
There we go. 42 is at it again. Oh, it looks like Werner's got a pretty good start. Reedy is really not on the ball. Looks like he dropped off a little bit there, and he's got Ryan Steenbacher and Cade Gimbel behind him. Of course, Reedy also has that damage on his car to deal with. It doesn't seem to hurt him that much, but his lap times aren't the quickest, that's for sure. Steenbacher seems to have to get out of that one a little bit. Looked like he was washing up some. And we have Richard Rico on the grass. Let's see what happened to him. That looks more like a technical issue than a driving issue. He pulls off the track there and gets it to pit road. Maybe a monitor or something else that is quitting on him. It's very unfortunate. And we have Tyler Werner going around the leader here. Talk about good timing. He goes around Holzer. Holzer trying to defend. And he does so effectively. Let's ride along with Tyler here for a minute. Keep an eye on his hand movements. Looks like that car is handling pretty good. We have the technical issue. There we are. Whew. If you look at the hands of the drivers, folks, you can see that if the movements are calm and not jerking that wheel, that means the car is handling just fine. If they are moving very rapidly left to right and stuff, that means that the car's got all sorts of problems. But this looks pretty good. Tyler Werner looks pretty solid here. And we can check on Austin. He's got a damaged car, so let's see if there's a difference we note here. You can see on the exit of the turn, he has to work that wheel a little bit more than Tyler had, but it's still not bad. It doesn't look like, ooh, he's got to get off the gas there for a moment. It's still not as bad as you would think it would be. That back end is just, it's a little bit loose, but it's not horrible. Ballard has not left pit road for 32 laps, I believe, so looks like he has called it a night there. Unfortunate for him that that last crash did him in, and it was absolutely not his fault. Ooh, Tyler runs a little bit high. Let's go check on Steenbacher. He's fairly solidly in 4th position. Then we see the 29 of Nathaniel Mann and Cade Gimbel in the 2 runs wide. Kyle Benson passes him and Joyner gets underneath him, so looks like he had to get out of it there. The 97, that's the back marker, the Randy Busquet, and he's still rolling. Trying to stay out of the way. It looks like Cade Gimbel is going to have to let Gregory Joyner go. And then it's Cole Martin coming up behind the number 2. And there we see the 12 in trouble once again. Just trying to stay out of the way, probably. There he takes back to the track. He's running in 14th position. He's only 1 lap down. That is still pretty good stuff. There you have Brandon Gillis in the number 9 car. Brandon is running in 10th position. Kate Gimbel. Kate is getting under pressure from Cole Martin there in that 24 car. Kate is probably, well, he's not without damage either, but it looks to me like he's asked maybe a little bit too much of his tires. He's trying to stay with the number 3. And he's hanging on there for now. Let's go check on James. And he's got a 3-4 car lengths on Tyler Werner there. Tyler's probably thinking that he doesn't want to overdo it right now. Race ain't over yet. We're just past halfway, or getting there. And let's check on Cade again. Oh, he's been passed by Cole Martin. Absolutely. Cole is now in 8th position. Let's go and check on Richard Rico. He is out. He must have had a technical issue that did him in for the night. It was really weird how he pulled off the track there. We can try and see if he wants to. Nope, can't find him. Holzer coming up to traffic. That is Debbie Hutchins hanging on there in that 82 car. Doesn't really seem to be wanting to turn in on her on the turns at all. It looks like she's got a massive understeer. Let's ride along with her and see how her hands are moving. Oh yes. She can't maintain the speeds turning in. That car is not straight anymore. It looks like she has a major hard time getting it to turn, and if she gets it to turn, it wants to get away from her. She's not running up to speed, and that car does not want to straighten out. So she is fighting that car really, really, really hard. I commend her for not giving up. Holzer is about a second clear of Werner now. And let's go see how Nathaniel is doing. He seems to be closing in on Benson. These guys are running 5th and 6th. And it looks like Nathaniel's got a pretty good car. Running very well with Benson. And that is probably, we have Melanson in trouble now. And he is being overtaken by Christopher Fethke in that 027 car. And then he comes back underneath and picks it right back up. Maybe a bit of a slip of the focus there. He's also not entirely happy with that car. We can ride along with him and see how his hands are juggling that steering wheel. There's Debbie on the high side. She's just rolling our laps on that high side. Kelly had to get out of it here. And you can see he turns more than we saw the other drivers do. That could be a steering ratio thing, that he uses a different steering ratio, but it could also mean that he is just shrubbing over those front tires a lot. And that means he's got massive understeer. Let's go and find Steenbacher's again. Benson and Mann are not that far behind Ryan there. Ryan in 4th, Benson 5th, Nathaniel in 6th. Looks like Nathaniel has dropped off from Benson a little bit, but Benson seems to be fairly strong towards that 799. Pretty much the rest of the field is stretched out. Ryan hanging on, and that's the 76 of Kyle behind. Ooh, Steenbuckers has a major oversteer moment there. Losing the back end almost. Let's bring that back for you. There you see it. He saves it. Does pretty good. Ooh, we got to bring that pass back too, because it looks like the 76 comes underneath that 799 to pick up that fourth position. So Kyle Benson works his way back to fourth at the cost of Steenbuckers there. Jaden Gimbel is back on pit road. I can't help but wonder if he's trying to, or if he's finally figuring out that this is just not working. But let's see what he does. And Debbie's been on pit road again. And that is kind of the same problem there. Cars that just don't want to do what you want it to do. No such problems for leader James Holzer. Almost 2 seconds ahead of Tyler Werner. Brandon Gillis is closing in on Gavin Hutspit there for 10th and 11th position. Debbie Hutchins back in the pits. Nope. Probably just on the apron there. Computer gets confused. Brandon looked like he was gaining there on Gavin. Oh, we have another caution. Let's go find out what happened. Oh my goodness. The 12 had a fast repair that he didn't use. And then when he does use it, he gets in trouble again. What happened? Yeah, he just loses the back end. Debbie has no place to go. Luckily, they're sliding very nicely on the grass. That makes the 12 stay out of worse trouble. But why didn't he use that fast repair before, as bad as that car was? That is mind-boggling. Well, gives the leaders an opportunity to go down pit road. There you have them all coming in. First 11 cars on your screen are all coming down pit road. Holzer. As you see, the first few pits are already in turn one. Holzer taking 4 tires. And Reedy is 2. Holzer is already out. 33 is already out. And Kelly Melanson in the 14 car stayed out. He last pitted on lap 64. He's coming in now. And let's go check on Joyner. He drops down quite a bit. What happened to him? Brandon Gillis. And Debbie Hutchins still having that car worked on, but I can't for the life of me figure out why Jaden Gimbel did not get that car fixed before. He spent 2/3 of the race driving without a front end and a rear end, and it turns out he had his fast repair still in the box. 3 laps down. And Kelly coming back out. Fesky coming back out. Don't run into each other on pit road, guys. Debbie coming back out. And And James has got a little bit of a wrinkled right side there. He may have scrubbed the wall a couple times. Look at the right rear there. That green light. Oh. Well, the internet is not cooperating very much here tonight. And there we are. Lights on the pace car are out. Holzer is trying to warm those front tires up a little bit. Werner comes alongside. Reedy and Benson will be on the second row. Martin and Steenbacher's on the third. Field is trying to catch up with him. And the field is still stretched out there. Guys in the back are
Green flag.
being very careful. And it looks like Tyler has got that restart under control a little bit better now. He stays alongside Holzer. Then he slots in right behind him. And Austin Reedy in third. Benson in fourth. Looks like we have a little bit tighter peck right now. Background, we saw Joyner getting really loose. Look at that. Ooh. Good save. Very good save. Holzer still in the lead, hanging on in front of Werner. Let's ride along with Tyler again. Well, Gavin Hudspeth is getting into it, it looks like. He's improved his personal best lap time, and Brandon Gillis does the same thing. Kind of tells you that these guys are getting into it there. Jaden Gimbel is running with him in that repaired car. Well, I wonder, maybe he didn't. Oh no, not again! Loses the backhand back onto the grass. Luckily doesn't hit anything. Yeah, these guys are not all that happy with me. And folks, maybe I was wrong saying that he didn't use that fast spare. He's been on pit road a lot. So maybe he's been on pit road enough for them to be able to put back a front and a rear end. That may be it. Jaden is still 3 laps down, and we saw him get in trouble again there. We have Gillis in trouble. Let's see what happens to him. Same thing. Those cars are just loose. They're just very, very loose. And you would think that after 114 laps, they would have figured it out by now, but evidently they're still all going at it, and it still happens. Holzer not having these kinds of problems. Well, as you say that, he gets into the turn pretty loose. Let's check on Austin Reedy, your championship leader. He's going to lead. He's going to lose that 1-point lead tonight if he doesn't get closer to Holzer. He still has not repaired that car. He must be fairly happy with it there in 4th position. Steenbacher's following him in that 799. Holzer is still in control, but it is not as convincing as before. They stay with him a heck of a lot better, and it looks to me, but that may just be me, but it looks like the 42 is a little bit loose on the entry there. Keep an eye on that 42 and its back end. It's not as bad on this turn, but it felt to me like going into turn 3, he slides that rear end a little bit. Well, maybe not. Maybe not so much this time. Maybe if we can take a look from the nose of Werner's car here. He seems to be okay. Seems to be okay. Joyner is getting ready to put some more pressure on Martin. Martin running fairly wide there and gives the position to Gregory Joyner. That is now 7th position for the number 3. And now it seems like James is pulling away a little bit from Tyler Werner, lap 122. And Benson is almost same thing. Yeah, they got to be careful stepping on that right pedal. These cars want to step out. And Reedy 4th. Oh, Debbie riding the wall there. She's having a hard time with that machine. It seems like it just doesn't want to turn. She's probably about 10 miles an hour slower than everybody else, and it still doesn't want to turn. So it looks to me like not only the aero is completely shot, obviously, but the suspension doesn't seem to be straight anymore. And Steenbacher's is hanging with Reedy fairly well. Nathaniel Mann is putting pressure on Cole Martin now. Ooh, another wiggle for the 24. But it's the same for everybody, obviously. When it's fixed setup, it's the same for everybody. The only thing that can make a difference is, you know, setups can also be very personal. So when they run fixed setups, they usually try to find something that works for everybody, that's fairly safe and solid. But it looks tonight that the setup is just a tad loose, too loose for a lot of drivers, and that it gets a lot of guys in trouble. Cade Gimbel seems to be closing in on Nathaniel Mann a little bit. Cade is about 1/10 of a second quicker per lap at this point. Let's check on Cole. Cole Martin in 7th position. He's hanging with Joyner pretty good. And Reedy still ahead of Steenbacher's. Holzer's advantage is up to about 8/10 of a second now. Obviously, he's dealing with traffic. Lap 131. That's the 027 of Christopher Fathke in front of him, now beside him in his first race, I believe, here in the series. He's in 13th. And at number 14 of Kelly Melanson also has got a lot of damage on the front end, but he's also still running. And not really all that bad. Looks like Werner is eating away from that deficit a little bit. Obviously, the back markers are going to be a factor here for James. And Cole Martin in... he's caught up with Joyner and passed him. Yeah, he looks pretty good. Staying with Joyner and racing him side by side for that 6th position. Cade Gimbel in trouble. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, same thing. A little bit loose. And just barely keeping it out of the concrete there. Still going. Joyner back again at Martin. Oh! Joyner going around. Not being able to keep it out of the wall. He's on the grass. And he gets back underway. And it looks like he's taking it. No, he's on the apron. Thought he was going into pits, but that's not where... Ooh, Debbie again. She's really struggling with that car. Look at how it doesn't even want to flow into the turn. It just... the suspensions on that car are just completely crooked. And Gimbel's back at it again. Let's go check on Jaden. Still on 3 laps down, 14th position. He's fast. Ooh, almost lost it. But he runs pretty good lap times. Ooh, was Holzer sliding around there? That was Randy Busquet. He went under, and then Debbie Hutchins. Holzer is running 22.8 laps at this point. Werner seems to be a little bit quicker, but it's not that big of a difference, to be honest with you. And Cade Gimbel has gone to pit road here. Lap number 143. That seems to be routine service. field is very stretched out at this point. Steenbakker's over a second between him and Reedy. I don't believe we have anybody under a second of the guy in front. So the field is really stretched out. Only 9 drivers on the lead lap still. Brandon Gillespie in the final car on the lead lap, and he's about to go down a lap. James Holzer on his inside. There you have it. So that means 8 drivers on the lead lap. And Cole Martin is gaining a little bit on Mann, and Steenbakker's going down pit road. Are we going to be seeing some green flag pit stops here? Guys haven't been in the pits since lap 102, so yeah. Those tires are wearing off, and fuel's not getting any more either. Holzer coming up to Jaden Gimbel. Ooh, had to get out of the gas there. The fact that the car is loose by itself on setup is obviously not going to help much when the tires wear off. There we had somebody slowing down. That is the 56. Gavin Hudspeth coming down pit road, smoking engine. That is never a good sign. Ooh, he still has his fast repair. See that? Rear end was... And that's what you want. You want to have that fast repair at the end when you really need it. Gavin is in 12th position as he moves out. Ooh, 42 is getting a little bit loose there also. He hasn't passed Jaden Gimbel yet. Jaden running good lap times. Oh, good save. Unbelievable. These guys are fighting these cars here tonight. Oh, James getting closer now. Coming on the inside. Ooh, drifting out of the turn as well. All of them have the same problem, and the worse those tires get, the worse the problem becomes. And Gavin back in the pits again. Car doesn't look that bad. Well, he took that fast repair a lap ago, but he's coming back in again. Ooh, 027 bouncing off the wall there, almost in front of the leader. We've seen that happen before. Yeah, they're all fighting their cars at this point. Let's go check on Tyler. Even changing lanes to pass somebody is upsetting the back end of that car. Yeah, they're all having a hard time. So I guess that fixed setup that they had tonight was not really the best of setups. Christopher in the pits. Holzer going underneath the 24. And was that the 24? No, that was the 14. I'm sorry. Well, believe it or not, but Debbie has worked her way from, we see Joyner hitting the wall pretty hard. Debbie has worked her way from 19th to 16th just by keeping going. So there's a few points that she can pick up with that. Let's check on Austin. He's fighting that car too. Everybody's fighting those cars. Ooh. What happened to him? Oh, same thing. Let's bring it back a little bit further. There you have it. He gets on the gas on the main straightaway, and there is just no grip. Well, so much for the idea that a cool track always gives you a lot of grip. If the setup's not right, it just ain't true. Lap 161 actually. We have 15 laps to go here in Richmond, Virginia, in the Pure Speed Elite Series. And once again, folks, we're brought to you by the Sandwich Man Racing Group, the guys that are your go-to people for racing memorabilia, model cars, hats, jackets, t-shirts, and all that kind of stuff. So go check them out and find them on Facebook. Holidays coming up, so I'm sure you can find some appropriate gift for one of your racer friends. I guess the girlfriends could see that as a big hint as well. And right now, folks, we're in a phase of the race where the gaps between the drivers are pretty big. The only one under a second behind the opponent is this guy, Cole Martin, less than a second behind Nathaniel Mann in 5th and 6th position, and everybody else is just doing their own thing, trying to keep that car between the wall and the line. Everybody is struggling. Lap times are for Holzer are actually not that bad. 22.9. So he's dropping off, obviously, but not that much. A lot of drivers are over the 23 seconds right now. Cade Gimbel's doing pretty good, and Jaden Gimbel is, he's running fairly good lap times. So it looks like everybody's just hanging on, trying to get home under green. Everybody's been struggling with the setup of the car. It's been very loose. And early on in the race, we saw drivers losing it and getting in trouble. And it's been like that throughout the race, unfortunately. So hopefully they can get a little bit better setup next week when we go to Daytona. They can't have a loose car there. Yeah, even I'm not sure if you can see that on your screen, but you can see the hand movements even of the leader. Look at that, fighting that back end. It's almost like running dirt. And the guys that have a lot of experience on dirt are definitely in an advantage here, but you have to be the thing is that the speeds are obviously a little bit higher, and you have to be lightning quick to catch that car. It's almost... I saw an interview once with Mika Hakkinen, a Formula One world champion.
Caution, yellow flag.
Ooh, that's going to bring up everything real close. Let's go and find out what happened there. We'll talk about Mika Hakkinen later. There you have it. Oh. It's just a matter of... let's bring it back a little bit further. We see the... I believe that was the 97 of Busquet losing it. Bouncing off the wall. And then the 2 touches the 027 there. It's just a struggle for everybody right now. Well, new rubber will definitely help, even though we just have a few laps to go. By the time we go green, it's probably 2 or 3 laps. And that opens up possibilities, because the field will obviously be close back together again. Let's go and see. Ooh, Holzer has to back it up in his pit. That costs him time. Will not be surprised if Werner beats him out. They're all taking 4 tires, and Werner does beat him out. There you see what a simple mistake in the pit can cost you. That is a track position that you lose there just because you didn't get into your pit right. Steenbacher's has come out. He didn't pit. He didn't pit. He's pitting now. So Werner takes the lead from Holzer on pit road. Reedy in 3rd, Benson in 4th. That is all still the same. And everybody else is on pit road right now. Jaden Gimbel. There's Steenbacher's in front of him. So, and then in front of your leader, we have the 56 of Gavin Hudspeth. But this opens a possibility for Tyler Werner here. He'll be on the inside starting. That is better than the outside, although I do believe that outside came in a little bit. And don't count out James Holzer. Obviously, he still has a strong car and he's a good driver. So he will have 2 laps to get it done and go after Werner. We will be doing a green-white checkered, and we can do 5 of them if we need them. And 56 goes around. The boys will be lining them up here. Tyler Werner is the leader. He gets to set the pace. He gets to set the restart. 2 laps to get it done. Can he stay ahead of James Holzer, who's been leading pretty much the entire race? That would be disappointing to lose it on pit road.
Green flag.
There
green
we
flag.
go. They wait on the flag nicely. Ooh, Holzer has a great start on the higher side. Already gets it ahead of Werner, but Werner's not giving it. Ooh, they touched there. That looks like Werner pushed Holzer into the wall there. Let's bring that back for you. Definitely a touch between those 2 drivers. Austin Reedy gets around Holzer. And a white flag is out by now. Tyler Werner is in the lead with Reedy behind him. Holzer in 3rd. And there you have it, folks. Tyler Werner makes it work this on this final restart. He got out ahead of the pits, ahead of Holzer in the pits. He brought it back home and takes the win here tonight at Richmond. And you can see that Mr. Holzer is not happy. He is not happy, and that looked to me like he was letting Werner know that. He is definitely coming at the number 33 there, and that is not something we like to see. We understand disappointment, but take it to the protest. All right, so Tyler Werner is your winner. There he is running some donuts on the front stretch. Austin Reedy, your second place driver. Richmond, Virginia is for Tyler Werner. All right, let's go and talk to some people. Hey, James, this is Mark in the booth. I understand your frustration there at the end all too well, sir. It looked like you guys got together going into that final lap there. What happened?
We only led 161 laps at 175, so, we dominated the race. Definitely had the best car. I think the 33 was a little better on the short run because I was saving my right rear. Which is why he had the fastest lap of the race. Was really just trying to save tire and keep track position. And I had a really, really good restart on the outside there on 2 to go, just from knowing where that light was and timed it perfectly. Spun the tires a little more than I wanted to, but still had the position going through the corner. I felt like I gave him plenty of room. Went back and watched it. I gave him extra plenty. And I guess it's just green, white, checkered racing. Got tight off the corner, but just like completely walled me. But long seasons, just kind of how it's been going, just be up front for the whole thing, and then the 11 will beat you on points by 1. So, we finished outside the top 5 once, P8, and we're going to be 2 points down in the championship now. Really confuzzled. I'll have to go back and watch the end of that, why we went 100 and some laps green and had a caution with 5 to go. I think it was, I don't know, I'll have to go back and watch it and see what happens before I say anything. But, yeah, I don't know, heartbreak. Lead the whole race and have a late race caution. We slid through the pit box just a little bit and didn't register as it said too far forward. So that's how we lost the lead on pits. I don't know. We had an okay race. We kept it up front. Lap car almost took us out in the process too, as we were passing lap cars. He got loose and I really had to save it there. Like I said, we did what we could. Can't really do much better than what we did other than lead the last lap. So guess we'll have to regroup and come in next week. I guess if that's how the 33 wants to race, it's a long season, so keep it in the memory bank.
Let's be honest here. It looked to me like everybody was struggling with the setup here tonight. It felt to me like, especially when you had a long green stretch before that final yellow, and it looked like even you were struggling with the car, keeping it in a straight line, coming off the turns there. So part of the problem may be that some of the let's call them lesser drivers obviously fight that car a little bit harder. That causes a bunch of yellows, and obviously that influences the entire race. And the guys on top may be able to be a little better at saving the car when it slides, but when the setup is that loose, it gets a lot of people in trouble there, James.
Yeah, and I don't think it's really. I think the setup actually here is pretty darn good. It's really right rear tire management at the beginning. I don't know if you'd notice or not, but like at the short run, like the 33, the 11, the 76, all the guys who were behind us there were able to catch a lot on entry. But I was just trying to keep the rear tire as cool as I could and not have it slide. Because when you have it slide, it's going to slide the whole way into the center. And when you get on the throttle, it's going to get that temperature increased a lot quicker. So that's why on the longer run, I could drive a little bit easier and still pull away. But on the closing laps, I was just trying to remind myself not to back off the pace, because when I do that, I make more mistakes. So that's why I was getting a little slippy slidey. at the end. I just didn't want to fall off the pace because when I do that, like I said, when I fall off the pace, I'll just start to make more mistakes. Really only made one huge one tonight other than the pit stop. We were coming out of 4 the one quarter and I had it completely lost, but I was able to hold the bottom and still hold the lead. So that was good, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else we could have done there.
Well, I mean that's still a consolation. You gave it your all, and mistakes happen and stuff happens. It's racing. It's a fairly short track with pretty fast cars in a field of 20. So I wouldn't be feeling too bad about it, James. Before I let you go, man, you want to do any shout outs? Send them into the world before I let you go.
I mean, just really the usuals. Thanks to JSR Racing. That's team I'm on in here. We all work together really well, and we do a pretty good job of getting each other prepared. Little tidbits here and there. Shout out to those guys, and always shout out to you for a great broadcast. I really enjoy watching it. Thanks for doing that, and yeah. It's really all the thank yous I have. Like I said, long season, memory banks open. I try to always race with the utmost respect, but I usually always get the bad end of it. So I don't like to dish it back out too much. I do sometimes. Usually it's after race incidences or, if somebody's already out of the race, I'll dish it out to them. But I don't know. Just long year. We'll be back.
All right. Thank you very much, James.
Yep.
All right, Austin, second place for you. It looked like you had a fairly good race car there. You had some damage on the back from, I believe, what was the first caution when there was quite a bit of a pile up there, and you never really had that taken care of. Was your car all right?
Yeah, it was more the driver tonight, Mark. I don't know how I'm in this chat right now, but yeah, I mean, we got that late race caution, and we just kind of slid up here somehow, snuck in.
So, did you ever use your fast repair?
No, the damage was never bad. I every time I pitted, I would have like 37 seconds. I think after the first caution, I didn't have much at all, so I didn't really worry about it. So I kept it around 15 for many laps, and then made that really long run. I hit the wall once and I had like 37, but no, the car was fine. It's just I didn't have a great grip on the track, so there was definitely guys that were a lot better than me. I had like a 4th, 5th place car all night. I don't even think I cracked the top 3 until lap 175, so just happened to be up there in the right spot.
Now you guys were all running the same setup there, so basically the biggest difference comes from how you like or dislike that car as is. Do I see that right?
Yeah, it's definitely a track you have to practice a lot too. It was a lot of people were getting loose coming out of the corner, a lot of people getting loose going in the corner, and it's just how far you can push that car going in and coming out is really where you got your speed from, taking care of the tires and whatnot. But practice really showed here, and I think there were 2 cars tonight that really showed that they showed up their best tonight, was just the 42 and the 33. 33 was never far off the 42, but the 42 did dominate tonight, and I know this is one of his better tracks, so it's a hard track too. It's a hard track to conserve your tires at and just race fast while you're conserving them.
So you're calling it a hard track. It also felt to me like that higher line, especially in the first half of the race, that higher line was really not working all that well.
It was, you could do it. You would have to have fresh tires though. If you're like, I know me and Benson came back from like 9th and 10th. We passed a couple guys on the outside, but I think that's just because they didn't really know when to get back on the gas when they were on the bottom. And if you got back on the gas too soon, you would be facing the wrong direction. So it was really got to be nice to it coming out. So it's just, but the outside definitely was not the line. You can make it work around slower guys, but other than that, it was a one-line track.
Now there was a few drivers that stayed out there with pretty poorly handling cars. Still, was that an issue for you guys up front?
Not really. I thought the lap cars did a pretty good job tonight of staying out of the way. I think there was one incident where I was in 3rd or 4th, and I saw a lap car kind of get close to James. I don't know if they touched or not, but that was really the only thing.
Fun.
Yeah, that was the only thing I really saw tonight. I thought they stayed out of the way, and I thought they did a really good job tonight.
All right. Well, Thanks very much for those insight, Austin. Any love yous and thank yous you want to send out?
Yeah, the Canadians always for the maple syrup. They make the best maple syrup. Big Fast Racing, Jay Gingball Motorsports. Everybody who puts on the show this week is always great to race in these races.
I guess we're going to have to call you Austin Maple Syrup, huh?
I don't even like maple syrup, man.
I do too. I love it. All right. Thanks very much, Austin.
All right, you got 'em.
All right, Tyler, time for your say, man. What happened there at the end?
Got a kind of bad restart, spun the tires. We were side by side heading in and drove it in just perfect, but got on the gas a little too early and kind of drove into James there, just fighting for the same part of track. And yeah, I guess he happened to get the short end of it, I guess.
All right. So, how did leading up to that situation? Obviously, you were in the front end of the field there, pretty much most of the race. It looked like you had a pretty good car. From all the people I looked around at to see how much they were struggling, you were looking to me at least as one of the guys that were struggling the least. So it worked for you pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, I put in probably close to 500 laps this week. Actually been at home with COVID, so really haven't had anything else to do other than practice, so it definitely paid off. I don't feel like I made any mistakes this race other than the last lap. Car felt really stable coming out of the corners, just practicing those really long green flag runs to know exactly how the car is going to handle. You can push it just that much harder and when it comes time to the race.
Practice makes perfect, huh?
Oh yeah, tonight it did. Feels good.
Absolutely. So you're saying you're home with COVID. I hope you're doing all right, Tyler, and I hope you're not having too much trouble with it.
No, just couple days. Last week I was pretty sick. This week just got a little headache, but feeling a lot better. Probably gonna be going back to work on Monday, so I'm looking forward to it. 2 weeks has been the longest I've been away, so it'll kind of feel like a little break coming back.
Absolutely.
Feel like a new job.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said it'll feel like a new job going back.
They'll have to train you again, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Tyler. Once again, man, congratulations on a race well run. You seem to be up there in the top guys a lot in this series. What are your expectations for the rest of the season, and how do you think you can close the gap with Reedy and Holzer up front there?
My expectations is to just keep trying to get those top fives, keep gaining on those points. Can't always bank on other people having mistakes to get those big point races, but usually it seems like when that happens, we get caught up in it as well and then end up losing some anyway. But we just got to learn how to put this practice in, and when the time comes to need to win the race, go out and win it.
What are your expectations for Daytona? Completely different animal from what we did here tonight.
Well, I got a couple days yet, so I'm going to probably be putting in a lot of practice there. Had a lot of road experience there in the like GT cars and some LMPs, but stock car is a whole different animal. Definitely been putting some practice in there already here and there. So really looking forward to it. Should be a good one.
All right, sounds good. Tyler, any shout outs you want to make?
Want to give a shout out to my parents because I know they're watching. Feels good to get a win in front of them instead of telling them the next day. Like to give a big shout out to Big Fast and Jay Gingball Motorsports for all the practice and information that we share with each other. Sometimes the littlest things make the biggest difference. So it really helps out having us all here in this community.
All right, thank you very much, Tyler. Thank you all three for your insights here. It was definitely a difficult race for a lot of guys and gal actually. So all in all, I agree with the assessment that the back markers are in this series generally doing a phenomenal job of letting you guys race for the win. So kudos to all these drivers. Despite the fact that some were struggling with their cars, they did a pretty good job. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, folks. You heard from the top three drivers there, Tyler Werner, Austin Reedy, James Holzer. Obviously, James a little disappointed with how the win came to Tyler. I don't believe there was any ill intent there, and let's face it, James got into the position with a little mistake on pit road into that outside line. Obviously, he was hoping for that inside line. He had a pretty good start, that's for sure, and he almost made it ahead of James there, of Tyler there in the first turn after the restart, but it just fell a little bit short. That's sometimes what happens, and we've seen why it happened. The setup was a struggle for a lot of drivers here tonight. The cars were a little bit loose. As tires wore off, it didn't help much. So it's just one of those days, I suppose. The fact that we had a long green stint kind of also showed that some drivers were just struggling harder than others. The field stretched out quite a bit, and James just had the bad luck of a yellow coming out right before that finish, and the green-white checker kind of did him in there. But it is what it is, folks. That's racing sometimes. It's a bitter pill every once in a while, although I will say that coming home in third position can't be that bitter at the end. So further down the field there, you see Cole Martin in that 24, actually bringing it up into fourth place. That was pretty good. He had a good restart there, obviously. Kyle Benson in fifth, Ryan Steenbacher's in sixth, first Canadian driver. That's where that maple syrup comes from, folks, just so you remember. And Gregory Joyner there in eighth, Brandon Gillis in ninth, Kelly Melanson in 10th, second Canadian driver in the field here tonight. Kate Gimbel and Jaden Gimbel back-to-back there, 11th and 12th. Jaden had a struggle here during the race, but I commend him for keeping going, and actually he stayed on the lead lap with that barely running car there for quite some time, and then obviously at the end there the struggle became a little bit harder, but still only 4 laps down. With as bad as that car looked after the crash, that's still an accomplishment. Newcomer Christopher Fatke in an 027 car in 13th position, Gavin Hutspit in 14th, Randy Biscuit 15th, Debbie Hutchins brings it home 39 laps down from the leaders, but she did gain a few places since that a major incident early in the race. She just kept on going. Car didn't handle worth anything, but she kept it moving, and never give up. That's a good attitude to have when you're in races. Richard Rico looked to me like he had some sort of a technical issue when he parked it on the infield there. Mitchell Snare, not really sure what happened to him. Let's see if we can get to the next page here. And there you have the last 2 drivers. Robert Ballard, I kind of falsely accused him of causing some trouble. It looked like there was just it was just a racing incident between Debbie and him, the first incident, and then later he was really a victim of the incident happening ahead of him and lost his front end on the car there. So a very bad night for Robert Ballard, and I hope he comes back and has a little bit more luck next time in Daytona. John Holiday rounds it out there fairly early on, had to give up there, 172 laps down, and I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember what happened to him. So there you have it, folks. That is your Richmond, Virginia race, brought to you by Sandwich Man Racing, the go-to place for your racing memorabilia, die-cast cars in 1/24th and 1/64 scale, hats, T-shirts, you name it, they have it. With the holidays coming up, give them a look-see and see if you can find something for your friends in the racing business here. Next week, as said, we're going to Daytona, doing the road course, and that'll be a whole different animal, obviously. And I'm sure not everybody in this group of drivers is as used to driving road courses as the top 3 drivers were saying they were. So that'll be an interesting night for sure. And we hope to see you all there again. And until then, this is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. Until then, folks, stay healthy and take care of one another.
You done streaming?
Give me a second.